Hello students, good morning. In today's class, we are going to continue our class regarding the topic that is demerits of scientific management. In the last class, we have discussed what are the benefits of scientific management, and in today's class, we will discuss regarding the demerits. What are the demerits of scientific management? Okay, so in benefits of scientific management we have discussed regarding that what are the benefits to employees and what are the benefits to workers, what the scientific management is providing the benefits to employers, and what the benefit the scientific management is providing benefits to the workers, and what about the demerits. Okay, what about the demerits of the scientific management? So there are some demerits. For every merit there will be some opposite uh, points also. So for this there are some people who have criticized this scientific management on some points. So criticism by the owners. So even though the advent of scientific management resulted in a revolution in the industrial world, it has created so much of revolution, this scientific management theory, it has created so much of revolution in the industrial world, which resulted in an unprecedented increase. Okay, today's topic is demerits of scientific management. Okay, so there are some demerits. So if the demerit, the A1 is criticisms by owners. Okay, in that difficult to introduce, then only suitable for large scale businesses. It is only suitable for large scale businesses, and dependency on experts. Okay, and the B1 is criticism by workers. Okay, first is fear of retrenchment. Fear of retrenchment. Second is lack of initiative. Third is opposition by labor union. So in today's topic it is what are the criticisms. So there were some people who have criticized, and there are situations where the this scientific management theory was been criticized. So first of all it was been criticized by the owners. Okay, owners of the industries, how they have criticized. Okay, so the owners of the business have criticized scientific management like it is very much difficult to introduce. So this implementing this scientific management system in the management place of the old tried and tested system is not an easy task. So it is not an easy task, the tried and system, and the implementing a system of scientific management in place of the old tried and tested system is not an easy task. So it requires a complete change in the structure of the organization, and also it results in frequent interruptions in the production processes. So it can be said that implementing a system of scientific management is a very long and tedious processes, because for implementing this scientific management the owner said that it is very much difficult to implement, and it is very much tried, and it requires so much of changes, and there are so much of interruption in the production processes. So these owners have criticized that it is very much difficult to introduce, and again what they said that second is only it is suitable for large businesses. So since this is a very complex and expensive system to implement, it can be implemented only in large scale organizations. So in other words, it is not economically feasible to implement the system of scientific management in a small scale organization, because it is very much complex and it is very much expensive system, and it can only be implemented in the large scale businesses. Okay, it can only be implemented in the large scale businesses. So it is third is what it is more dependency on experts. So this system requires the appointment of experts. So there is so much of experts required to implement this scientific management, and they need so much of experts. So all the work in the organization is done according to the instruction of experts only. So all the work in the organization is done according to the instructions of what? Instructions of experts only. So over a period of time, the owners of the business and the workers become so dependent upon the expert that they are unable to work by themselves. So much dependence upon experts is also dangerous for the organization, as over a period of time the owners of the business and the workers they become so dependent. Okay, so they become so much of dependent upon the experts that they are unable to work by themselves. So much dependence upon experts is also dangerous for the organization. Okay, dangerous for the organization. So there will be there it requires, it is very much difficult to introduce. So it is very much difficult to introduce this scientific management, and it is very much suitable for large scale businesses, and it is very much dependence on experts. Okay, it very much dependence on experts, and the criticism by workers. Okay, and regarding the second is what? Criticisms by workers. So there were some workers also who have criticized this scientific management. Second B is what? Criticism by workers. And what they have said that, so first is what? The fear of retrenchment. So it is that one of the main aim of scientific management is increase in productivity. So the productivity activity is very much more in the scientific management. So the worker what they faced fear of retrenchment. Like the implementation of a scientific management system, it increases efficiency, which is very beneficial for the organization. It is very much beneficial for the organization, and however the increase in efficiency has adverse effect on the requirement for workers. So how they, the retrenchment means they require so much of workers that they require more workers. If they want to implement this scientific management everything in the organization, the workers, then what happens, they need more workers to work for the organization, because it need to increase the efficiency, it need to increase the efficiency. So they need to increase the, however, increase in the efficiency has adverse effect on the requirement of the workers. So there is a fall in the demand for workers. So what happens, there is a fall in the demand for workers, and they are in constant fear of losing their jobs. So it is mainly due to this reason that workers are opposed to scientific management. So it is mainly due to this reason that workers are opposed to scientific management. So there is a fall in the demand for, so there is a fall in the demand for workers, and they are in constant fear of losing their jobs. So it is mainly due to this reason that workers are opposed to scientific management. Second is lack of initiative. Second is lack of initiative. That is, lack of initiative is what, in such a system, all the major work is allotted to experts. Right, in a system what happens, all the major work, where whatever work will be there, it is allotted to the experts, and workers have no choice but to work as per their instructions. So in other words, workers are only concerned with doing what they are told, and not supposed to apply their own minds, because the workers need to, the other words, workers are only considered with doing what they are told, and are not supposed to apply their own minds. So in such a system, all the major work is allotted to experts and workers. Okay, the work is allotted to experts and workers, and workers have no choice. Okay, worker have no choice but to work as per their instructions. So in organizations, the worker will not have any, the workers will not have any like choices, and they need to work according to the instructions. And in other words, workers are only concerned with doing what they are told, and are not supposed to apply. So the lack of thinking has a adverse effect on their motivation level, which further reduces their efficiency, because their motivation level should be very high, because if there is no motivation level, it will reduce the efficiency. So initiative is very much required, so there is a lack of initiative. So in the scientific system management, the major work is allotted to what, to workers only, to experts, and the workers have no choice but to work as per the instructions, because the major work is being allotted. Okay, the major work is being allotted only to the experts. So in other words, workers are only concerned with doing what they are being told to do. Okay, and the other one is opposition by labor. Last one is opposition by labor union. So in this, opposition by labor unions is, there will be a opposition by the labor unions. In a system of scientific management, each worker is paid wages according to his capabilities. Okay, so according to his capabilities only, each worker has been paid salary or wages. So hence what happens, each person is more concerned about increasing in own efficiency, and is not concerned about anybody else, because he has been concerned regarding his own salary. So he want to increase his efficiency. So each person is more concerned about increasing his own efficiency, because they have been paying the amount only according to their efficiency, and only according to their knowledge, and only according to their work. So according to that only, the each person is more concerned about increasing his own efficiency and is not concerned about anybody else. So as a result, the power of labor unions and as a result the power of labor unions decreases as the number of their member falls. So this is the main reason why labor unions oppose scientific management. Okay, so this is the main reason why labor unions oppose scientific management. So the other one, okay, the other one is exploitation of labors. Okay, after opposition by labor, exploitation of labor. Okay, exploitation of by laborers and inhuman behavior. Inhuman behavior. Okay, so that is criticism by workers. So exploitation by labor. Okay, exploitation by laborers. So as what is this exploitation by laborers is, it is clear that what it is clear that in scientific management what happens, it increases the efficiency of laborers. So as a result of which what happens, they are able to earn higher wages. Okay, so however what happens, the owners increases the wages to a much lower extent compared to the increase in efficiency. So this results in exploitation of laborers as a major chunk of the higher profits due to the increased efficiency. Okay, and they are being retained by the owners. So it is clear in the scientific management system increases the efficiency of laborers. So what happens, it results in which they are able to earn higher wages. Okay, they are able to learn higher wages. And the fifth one is inhuman behavior. Okay, inhuman behavior. So in inhuman behavior what happens, in the scientific management system the owners are only concerned about the increase in production and they totally ignore the adverse effect the additional work and the burden has on the health of the employees. So in this system it results in inhuman behaviors on the part of the owners towards their employees, because the employees are being treated very heavy, very much work is being given, very much burden to them, and they are being treated very inhuman behavior is being treated. Okay, inhuman behavior inhuman behavior is being done to the employees and they are being treated very much badly. So under this scientific management system the owners are only concerned about the increase in production and they totally ignore the adverse effect, so the additional work burden has on the health of the employees. So in this system there results in inhuman behaviors on the part of the owners towards their employees. Okay, towards their employees. So the next topic, this topic is completed, demerits of scientific management. Okay, and the next topic what we are going to discuss is, it is what are the contribution that are being made on the administrative management and what is the importance of administrative management. And the other topic is what is the concepts of Webster theory of bureaucratic administration and what are its features and advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so we will discuss this about this Webster theory in now next topic we will discuss about this Webster theory of bureaucratic administration state its features and advantages and disadvantages.